Reppin' Philly ain't a choice, it's a way of life. PhillyGoat.com is your one-stop shop for Philly pride. Use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. Look fresh, stay Philly, Philly Goat. Go Birds. What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for December 24th, 2025. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Christmas Eve Wednesday hump day edition of the podcast. Let's get into it. Pro Bowl selections were announced for the NFL. 5 Eagles were named: Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon, Zach Bond, Cam Jurgens. No Jordan Davis, which was kind of surprising to me. I would have thought they would have been flopped, where Davis would have been picked over Carter. But hard to argue that Jordan Davis is like, whatever. We'll see what happens. But they get back to practice today. Excited to see kind of what the injury report looks like. Still looks like Carter and Lane Johnson are going to play. Nakobe Dean's dealing with that hamstring. Vic Fangio did say that he's quote-unquote iffy, but he is progressing and it's not as serious as the team thought it was, which is good. With a hamstring on what could be a cold field up in Buffalo. See what happens, but Jahad Campbell actually filled in well. So we'll see what happens, but the new Brotherly Birds breakdown is out. Kyle and I discussed that as well as many other things. So go for more Eagles coverage. Go to the Brotherly Birds breakdown, available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. Good episode. Kind of reflected on the division title, gave our picks, and obviously talked about that game with the Commanders. But shaping up well. Eagles still in play for that 2 seed. So this is actually a big game for them. We should have more clarity on Nakobe Dean. But other than that, they're relatively healthy. If all things considered this late in the season, I'll take that. Bryce Harper announced that he will play for the United States in the World Baseball Classic. Maybe that'll give him sort of a head start on the season. And he'll hit the ground running, as he really needs to have a bounce back year this year. So hopefully playing in the World Baseball Classic will help with that. Flyers went out and got a 3-1 win out in Chicago. They head into the NHL holiday break now on a high note. 2 straight wins, so they're fun. I keep saying it, but they are fun. Sixers, though, had everyone playing last night and lost to the Nets 114-106. Maxey had an off night. Joe led the team with 27 points. Did leave the game. Hyperextended his knee. And if you want to talk about bad luck, man, Jesus. But that does bring their record now for games that all 3, Maxey, George, and Joe played in, to 0-3, which is very, very odd. But tough one. Can't be losing to the Nets like that, especially with your big 3 playing. It was still a fun game, though. All right, let's do some quick housekeeping. Be sure to follow me on all social media platforms at Philly Jimbo. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Jimbo_Mont, and continue to spread the word as we grow this thing. A couple quick programming notes. Don't forget, no episode tomorrow. I'll be back on Friday. Be sure to check out the Brotherly Birds breakdown. And of course, my wife Abby made her debut on the Clashing Conferences Podcast Network, a special wives edition. So be sure to check that out wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. And then yesterday's trivia question. I asked you, which Eagles receivers have led the league in receiving yards? Had some fun with this yesterday. A lot of great guesses. The Eagles, over the years, have had some decent receivers, but not the guys you think. A lot of people are saying T.O., Deshaun Jackson, even a couple Macklins. A.J. Brown has never done it, but the list is Don Looney in 1940, Bios in 53 and 55, Tommy McDonald in 1961, Ben Harkins in 1967, Harold Jackson did it twice in 69 and 72, Harold Carmichael in 73, and of course, Mike Quick in 1983. Still, for my money, the best name for a wide receiver, Mike Quick. But thank you to everybody who reached out and made guesses for yesterday's trivia question. And then it is Christmas Eve, our final random act of kindness for the month. Call or text someone you haven't spoken to in a while. I said this last year, and I did get a lot of calls and texts, but it just is the time to do it. You never know who might be lonely. Catch up with someone you haven't talked to. Ties in great with yesterday's, with making amends and saying you're sorry, forgiving people. But call or text, reach out to someone you haven't spoken to in a while. This day in Philly sports history is proud to be a part of the Clashing Conferences Sports Fan Network, a growing community of diehard fans turning their sports passion into something special. Whether you're looking for unique shows, want to launch your own podcast but don't have the time, or need production services, the ClashingConferences.com has everything you need. Explore fan-driven content, become a member, or tap into their media services to level up your brand. That's ClashingConferences.com, where fans' voices get heard. All right, December 24th. Not a whole lot in Philly sports history, but I was able to find three things. First, let's go back to 1978, and fresh off their first winning season since 1966, the Eagles played in their first playoff game since the 1960 NFL Championship and appeared poised for a victory at the Vet over the Falcons. They were leading 13-0 heading into the fourth quarter, and then Steve Barkowski threw two touchdown passes to give the Falcons a 14-13 lead. The offense struggled in the second half, but did have a drive, drove into field goal range, and Mike Michel missed a 34-yarder with 17 seconds left that would have given the Eagles the win. So the wait continued for another year as the Eagles lose to the Falcons 14-13 in the NFC wildcard game. Fast forward to 1989. Eagles rushed for 267 yards. The defense forced 3 turnovers and had 4 sacks on a cold day at the Vet as the Eagles pounded the Cardinals 31-14, clinching an 11-5 record, a wild card berth, and a home game against the Rams the next week. This game had a little bit of everything: sacks, turnovers, Randall running for touchdowns, a fake field goal, you name it, this game had it, as the Eagles ended the season with 11-5 record, setting up a showdown with the Rams at the Vet the next week. And then go all the way up to 2000. The Eagles defense forced 3 turnovers in a game where the offense just did not look sharp, but did just enough to escape with a 16-7 win over the Bengals, clinching a home playoff game against the Buccaneers the next week, which ultimately, that game against the Buccaneers is what led to me getting season tickets because I was in attendance for that game. David Akers set the Eagles' single-season scoring record with 121 points set by Paul McFadden back in, I believe, 1984, as he went 3 for 4 on field goals and 1 for 1 with extra points as the Eagles beat the Bengals, clinching a home playoff game the following week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that does lead directly into today's trivia question. Who currently holds the Eagles' single-season record for scoring, and what year did they do it in? The answer may surprise you. So hit me up on the Back to the Future voice and text line 267-495-8531. Get that, anything else Philly sports related off of your chest, or the Discord channel, which is one of the first links in the description. Let's have some good Philly sports talk chat here on a Christmas Eve. And it is Wednesday. Time for What If Wednesday, brought to you by Lotwin. Go to lotwin.com. Get your 3D custom hype chains. These things are awesome. Use the promo code TCCPOD to take 10% off your order, but get hype with Lotwin and get your 3D custom hype chains. All right, so it is Christmas. I figured for What If Wednesday, let's have a little bit of fun with this. We talked last week. It was the anniversary of the infamous we booed and threw snowballs at Santa game. So I figured, what if that never happened? What if Eagles fans, for whatever reason, did not boo and throw snowballs at Santa? How would that change the narrative? And I think that just added to the lore and the legend and the lazy, flat out journalism that people have when it comes to Philly fans. But I do think the narrative changes. We're kind of looked at, I would think, as maybe like the Cubs fans, Chicago fans, Red Sox up in Boston at the time, kind of the lovable losers. Like, their teams get so close and they can't do it. But the narrative is not, they're boorish, they're this, they're that, they threw snowballs at Santa. But I wonder, going even a step further, if that never happened, how does the narrative change? Do we throw batteries at J.D. Drew? Do the flare guns go off on Monday Night Football? Do we even boo as much as we do? And is that the narrative? A lot of times people still say, Philly fans, they eat their own, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if we have that narrative, all because we threw snowballs at Santa. I don't know. I still think something would have happened. I think somehow there would have been some narrative about Philly fans anyway. It's kind of just who we are in our DNA. But what are your thoughts on that? I think this is a great discussion as you're hanging with your family today. Maybe your dad or your grandpa was at that game and booed Santa, and I think it's just a great discussion to have. If we didn't boo Santa Claus, how would the narrative around Philly sports fans have changed? It's one of those thought-provoking things here on a Christmas Eve. But that is What If Wednesday, brought to you by Lotwin. Go to lotwin.com to get your 3D custom hype chain. Use the promo code TCCPOD to take 10% off of your order. On this day in 2000, Eagles beat the Bengals 16-7. David Akers set the Eagles' single-season scoring record as they clinch a home playoff game the following week against Tampa. 1989, Eagles pounded out 267 rushing yards. Defense gave the Cardinals fits all day as they beat the Cardinals 31-14, clinching an 11-5 season and a home playoff game the next week against the Rams. In 1978, Eagles lose their first playoff game since 1960, 14-13 to the Falcons. They had a 13-0 lead, couldn't hold it, had a chance to win it, but kicker Mike Michel missed a 34-yarder with 17 seconds left. Be sure to reach out, call, talk to someone today that you haven't spoken to in a while. Make someone's day. It's the holiday season. Just want to wish everyone a safe, happy, merry holiday season. Be safe, be smart. But thank you for all of your support this year. Truly, truly appreciate it. I would just be a guy talking in my office without you listening. So I appreciate it. I appreciate all our sponsors, Lotwin, Philly Goat, the Clashing Conferences, everybody who has helped support this podcast. Shout out to John Foley, who has been kind of like a mentor. I run things by him a lot, so I appreciate his support. Shout out to the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. Through this podcast and them, I've been able to meet 12-year-old me is amazed. Like, I got to meet Clyde Simmons and Seth Joyner this year. It's just great. So thank you to everyone with the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. But most importantly, thank you to you, the listeners, for your loyal support. I truly, truly appreciate it. I will be back Friday, where we'll spend Fridays with AI. Don't forget the Brotherly Birds breakdown. Shout out. Appreciate my brother for supporting the whole crazy idea of, I think we could do an Eagles pregame show. And I have to say, I really enjoy doing that. So shout out to Kyle as well. So be sure to check out this week's Brotherly Birds breakdown, available now wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for December 24th, 2025. My name is Jim Montgomery. Have a Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. If you're still celebrating Hanukkah, Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you're celebrating, have a great holiday season, and I will see you on Friday.